Okay, so we started last Wednesday with this piece around breath being our constant companion and our greatest ally. And I really like that catchphrase. One of my clients, I'm a mental health counselor, and one of my clients at one point said to me, like, this feels very Yoda-ish. And I was like, yes, it is your constant companion, your greatest ally. Keep coming back to this notion because it is literally the one thing that is always with us from the moment we take our first breath to the moment we release our last. It is the most powerful source of life energy. In yogic wisdom, we talk a lot about prana. We are literally talking about the body's vital airways and energy pathways. If those of you who are taking classes with Evan, I know she does a lot with breath work, and I think you can feel firsthand how some of these breathing practices energize quickly or dysregulate the downregulate the nervous system. So we're going to play a little bit with that today, but I also want you to keep in mind that there's a good reason why breath is sometimes hard to find and even harder to harness, and that's because our nervous system is constantly taking in feedback from the body, from the sensory system. In fact, about 80% of what it takes in comes directly from the body. Only about 20% of what it's taking in is originated in the mind. And so what we want to recognize is that our bodies sense threats all the time. That's kind of a part of being a diabetic. It's living in this constant place of perceiving a threat or wondering if we're under threat and checking numbers and getting pings. All of that creates kind of a trigger happy amygdala or sympathetic nervous system response. And so what we're going to do today is we're not only going to review very quickly what I think I emphasized last month when we were working with this nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve. How do we quickly engage our vagus nerve so that we can get from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system? But we're also going to slide back into a practice that I introduced last week. And that practice originated for me at the Kripalu Center for Health and Wellness, where I did a 30-day yoga training. The practice uses letters, which I'm going to drop into the chat, BRFWA, as a way of anchoring ourselves in a practice that uses all of these principles. B, breathe, R, relax, F, feel, W, watch, and A, allow. So you'll hear me lead you through a series of exercises today. If at any point in time you feel like you are being triggered, there is a threat, perceived, real, somewhere in between, I want you to feel free to open your eyes and to use the very first strategy that we covered last month in the series, which is how do we engage sight as a primitive animal to cue our nervous system to the state of safety. So with that said, I'm going to ring a bowl to formally start us, but the eyes can remain open for a moment. And I'll just invite you to lift the gaze away from the screen. And almost like your eyes are sponges, I want you to absorb details of the room that you're in. Almost like you're seeing it for the very first time. Notice things like colors, textures, shape, shadow, and pattern. And then let the eyes drop downward as maybe you lean forward over the seat, recognizing what lies below. Then lift the gaze as far up as is comfortable to recognize what lies overhead. And let the body, the head, the neck shift in either direction so that you, like an animal, are checking out your surroundings in 360 degrees. We'll come back to center in your own time. And we'll take the finger perhaps of your dominant hand, and we're going to bring it to the outside edge of the thumb of your non-dominant hand. And I'll keep my hand lifted just so you can see this practice, but you can let the hand drop in due time. We're just going to find our breath first. Check out what it's doing. On the inhale, I want you to trace up the thumb. On the exhale, trace down the thumb. Inhale, tracing the second finger. Top of the inhales, top of that finger. Exhale as you move down the opposite side of the finger. Continuing here. Inhale, middle finger, trace up. Exhale, tracing down. Next breath in moves you to the fourth finger. Next breath out, moving down. Another round, inhaling up, inhaling down, and then pause. And this time, we're going to repeat going backwards through this motion, inhaling up, exhaling down. But I want you to see if you can even out the breath consciously. So maybe you count. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling up for an even count. It could be 4, it could be 3, it could be 6, whatever comes natural. Exhaling, tracing the opposite side of that finger. Continuing through to make a full rotation of all 5 fingers. Almost like the breath is an iron and we're ironing out even inhales, even exhales. When you finish that 5th finger, pause, and we'll go back through. This time your eyes might close. Inhaling for an even count. Exhaling that same number, even count. Inhaling to trace up. Exhaling to trace down. And as you continue that, really hone into what it feels like, this gentle touch, tracing of the finger. And while that happens in tandem with a count, if you notice that the counting is distracting or disturbing, you can release it. Instead, just intuiting an even, equal breathing pattern, in and out. When you reach the end of the 5th finger, we're going to do this again, but this time I want you to slow down the exhale. So whatever that number counting up is, you're going to add 1 or 2 beats to the exhale. Many yogis prefer an inhale of 4, exhale of 6, or maybe an inhale of 3, exhale of 5. This is all personal preference. Letting touch and extended exhale engage the parasympathetic nervous system. When you finish that next round, pause. Let the hands both relax in the lap. And with eyes closed, we'll return to the acronym Berfois. You're already doing the B, breathing. So just continue here with me for a moment. Let breath be the anchor as attention moves inward, tip of the nose, center of the throat, center of the chest. Maybe even all the way down into the diaphragm, the belly. And as you breathe, you can hold on to the count if you found it helpful. You can release it otherwise. Instead, the aim is simply to notice that you're breathing, to be present with breath, and to let breath be your own personal invitation to relaxation, R, relaxation. So with every inhale, you might invite breath into an area where you feel some tension, tightness, maybe an unwanted sensation. And with every exhale, allow it to be an invitation to soften, relax, release. And as you breathe and you relax, F, we feel. So here you are breathing and relaxing and truly feeling into any feedback coming from the body. Tension, tightness, but maybe also a churning, a heaviness, maybe a pain or an unsettledness. You're breathing, relaxing, and feeling everything that needs to be felt. In fact, if you run into a felt sensation that you are not fond of, maybe you can whisper it a silent message like, "You are valid," or "Feelings aren't facts, but thank you for the message," or "It is safe to feel this." Breathing, relaxing, feeling, watching, W. Feelings are, in fact, messengers. They're just here to alert us to our own needs, universal needs. So if we don't wrestle with them, we don't judge them, we don't try to excuse them away, we just feel and watch the sensory science. We invite A, in Berfois, allow, to happen all by itself. We're allowing our inner system and signals to rise and fall like waves at the ocean. And as these waves ebb and flow, we're learning to surf them. By simply cycling through that practice, breathing. And as we breathe, letting it be the gateway to relax, to let go, to open up to what we feel as we feel it, with curiosity and compassion instead of judgment and rationale. And as we feel it, we're able to watch. not controlling, just watching. Watching what we feel and what the breath can do to what we feel. And as we watch that, we allow it to be energy in motion, emotion. A moment longer. Knowing that there is no right or wrong way to experience what you feel. But there is this way to change our habitual response. And the thing we needed all along to change that response was right here, the breath. Constant companion. And your greatest ally. So let that next inhale roll in like a wave. But this time as you exhale, go ahead and sigh it out audibly. You're all on mute. Ha. Go ahead and do that again. Nice big inhale. Let the exhale be audible. Once more. Full, complete inhale. Audible release. Sounding, letting go. Ah. And with the sound of the bowl, you can let the chin fall to the chest. Just bowing for a moment in gratitude to self for showing up, for trying something that isn't always easy. And then letting the eyes open away from the screen so they can adjust back to the room you're in. And when you're ready,